I'm Joey Only. Welcome to the Caribou Dude YouTube channel here. Got snowfall warnings going on in southern BC. A little bit more snow. It's overproducing, I think. Saturday's going to still see 20, 30 centimeters coming down in the Paulson Pass and maybe some other places like that in the mountains. But we have a snowstorm shot putting itself into BC, and it's going to bring more snow into places like the Caribou. I don't think we've had an actual snowstorm yet this year. We've had systems that have brought snow and sometimes rain and sometimes snow, but I think this is going to be like an actual snowstorm, and I think almost everyone's going to get a little bit of it. So hang on to your hats, everybody, because you're going to start your work week with a messy situation in much of BC. Here's all the details. Let's go.
There it is. This is bad news.
My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen.
Get on!
Wow. I'll watch the video later.
They dry mopping this. Here's looking at Canada right now. It's pretty quiet. There's high pressure sitting over much of the eastern half of the continent, making weather now fairly nice to start November for them. There's going to be a big warm-up coming to the east, but we're not here to talk about the east so much as the west, because the west is what we do best here on Caribou Dude YouTube channel. So there is, before we go to BC, there is there you go, blizzard warning continuing still tonight into Saturday morning. If you are stranded in a vehicle, do not leave. The vehicle offers you a form of protection from the cold. Good things to know. If they're good thing to stay. The Dempster Highway, I think most people who are traveling up there at this time of year, I would hope, have a pretty good sense of the seriousness of the situation up in that deep far north. 15 to 25 centimeters is going on Paulson Summit and Kootenay Pass tonight. That's going on through Saturday as well. An area of low pressure continues to push into the region from the southwest. Snowfall rates will intensify tonight with amounts between 5 to 10 centimeters expected. Saturday is when the snowfall warning criteria is most likely to be met, with amounts near 15 centimeters in 12 hours expected. Additionally, periodically, moderate winds of 20 to 40 gusting could see areas of blowing snow. Looking over the continent right now, here's that high pressure I was telling you about. 1030, fairly high sitting there over the Great Lakes, and that's keeping things very nice for them. Very cloud free for the most part. Got some thunderstorms going on in Texas right now and in New Mexico. Lightning flashing down there. Looks like maybe some rain and snow mix going on up through the Rocky Mountains in the States, up into Idaho, and then here in BC. And heavy rains going on for a little bit still longer in the coast. Well, this high moving clockwise and this low moving counterclockwise, that's what they do. They're helping to rocket some precipitation and some moisture, some extra some extra precipitable water to play with, and that's what's also riding these isobars up and into southern BC, up into the Rocky Mountains. And it's also what's going to help propel a new low that forms out of this stuff here in a couple days straight into BC like a cannonball. We'll just play the animation out here and watch how she goes once through, and watch how, bam, she slides into us for Monday, Tuesday. But look at this. Look at how it's going to warp things in behind. It'll also form a new low, which should make another significant severe storm outbreak in the United States. So that's something to be watching for next week. Tornadoes and whatnot through parts of the United States. But we're not really here to talk about that right now. We're here to talk about what's going to happen for Western Canada, more or less. And on Saturday, that precipitation in southern BC begins to clear on out. And we get a bit of a nice day on Sunday, although cooler weather for sure. But then we see by that time, sort of overnight coming into Monday morning, this new low starts to develop just off the coast. And as I said, these two systems are helping to launch it like a shot put straight in. And there it goes, bam, instantly deep and into the coast. And, of course, you expect the coast to take a lot of snow and precip like it does, but then watch how it moves straight across BC. Will try to reform itself in Alberta as a clipper. We've already been watching this pattern play out a couple times now, although this is more of a direct hit. We have this conveyor really pounding it straight into the province. Nice and good, and that's why we'll look at some snowfall totals here in a second. Maybe not so much in the central interior so much. Like maybe you'll see a little bit of this snow falling in Quesnel, maybe a little bit on that stretch of 97. But I would think as you go north of Prince George and you try to go up into the Pine Pass, if you're traveling on Monday especially, you're going to run into some very nasty weather. You're going to run into lots of snow if you're going through this corridor of Highway 16 towards Jasper. Right, maybe a little on the 16 corridor. Looks like right, these could shift a little bit though, right? So take this with a grain of salt. Be aware that there is going to be significant snowfall going on if you're in Burns Lake. Maybe you'll be somewhat clear of it, but maybe there'll be just enough of a shift where instead of 7, you get 17, or even some of these larger totals that are out there. So we're waiting to see. We will come back with another forecast in a couple of days and look at that. But here in the Caribou Mountains, definitely looking, I think Wells could even see 20, 30 centimeters as possible. It's not out of the question. But the mountain's still 21 centimeters, so good dump of snow coming. And I think most of the models are in agreement that this will happen. Maybe exactly how and who gets how much, they're not exactly firm on. But if you look at some of these totals in the North Rockies, if this happens, 40 centimeters falling up there, wow, that's a good start to your snow season. And if some of that could make it up to the Pine Pass, that would be really great to kick it off. Now, in and around Terrace, 63 centimeters, that's completely reasonable considering how much snow those big mountains can accrue. You can really get a sense in the animation here what I'm talking about, how these two systems, how this one's cyclonic and how this one's anticyclonic, how they're working together to make for a higher jet, for a transportation system, for a highway to send things in. And you got this out here, a little bit of thunderstorms and whatnot kicking around, brewing, some extra energy to work around and play with, right? Here at Saturday, 5 a.m., still snow fairly heavy in southern BC. Snowfall warning criteria probably being met for the Paulson Summit on Saturday, and it's going to take a little while for this to work its way out. A lot of that precipitation coming up into southern BC, that low trying to now form itself in Alberta. And here's the conveyor belt pushing. Now looking all ready for a lot of BC on Saturday, looking pretty nice, unless you're in that southeast corner where you could see freezing rain on either side of the flanks at times, and snow up in the higher places, transitioning to rain as you get lower in the as you get through the day, and those temperatures start to come up above zero everywhere except for the highest places along the passes. So you're driving through those passes, be aware that low pressure trying to form in Alberta. And this is, what happens. It's classic Chinook, dragging heat up and looking nice for Alberta. Reform up for them. Zipping along up there Saturday afternoon. Still somewhat messy in southern BC. So again, anyone in that southeast corner, if you're traveling through southeastern BC, even into the evening, this might take longer to hold on. And your window for nice weather, the central interior has a nice Saturday for the most part, and even up into the Peace. But you can see how the conveyor system is really launching the next band of into the coast already. Something to be aware of as well, though, for Sunday. Here's that next storm. Yukon, though, you could be seeing flurries at times. I would call those flurries that are going on there. Nothing too serious. Look at some of those thunderstorms happening in the United States there. Here's our storm that just shot puts in. And Sunday afternoon, not seeming like too much trouble, and then it just sort of deepens overnight quite quickly, gets itself together, and pounds right into that coast. So heavy bands of precipitation. Prince George stretch in on the Highway 16. That low really smacking a lot of rain into the coast. Vancouver Island taking a lot of rain. Some heavy winds at that time slamming in there. Most of BC seeing still Monday at 11 a.m. temperatures that may, as you're driving and traveling, may bring you into conflict with snow even when you're not in the mountains, even if you're just coming into high areas, right? So you'll see a lot of that be rain in the interior at some point. But through the Caribou Mountains and the Rockies, up and down, looking pretty good. And that strongest pulse of rain and snow going into Washington there later in the day on Monday, and things try to work themselves out. So watch that southeast corner probably be the last one. And this is all on the backside of that low, so it's bringing that cold air in and feeding warm air on this side up into these areas, which would be Manitoba and whatnot. So it should be a good one, everybody. Be ready for extra snow, even in places that haven't had much snow yet so far this year. So I'm Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude. Hope you enjoy my YouTube channel. Please hit like, share, subscribe. Consider becoming a channel member if you would, or joining the Patreon to help support this channel and help grow try to get the word out more and more when bad weather's coming to BC, like so often it is. These late night ones, I'm always sort of quiet because the kids are sleeping. They're here in the weekend. So I'm like, well, I should do it at night because in the morning I'll be too busy. And then I'm so dull that I'm like, watch it later and think, well, why didn't I just wait till the morning? And even with the chaos of kids around, try to, here we are. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Bye for now.